You don't have to remove the hot terminal from the battery post. I'm doing it here as a safety precaution or safety measure in the event the negative cable springs back onto the negative post and you remove that starter and creates a huge spark. And no, you don't have to do a battery relearn after you reinstall both terminals to the battery. I want to note, I want to make sure you follow every single step that I take in this video, although you may see some parts removed that I didn't remove, and it's because I'm replacing the CVT in this video. So only follow the detailed steps in this video. That's it. You're going to lose a little coolant removing these two hoses from the throttle body, which is fine. We'll top it off at the end of the video. I'll show you guys how to do that. And I'm also going to explain in this video why this is the best method to me on removing the starter from this vehicle. And I'll show you guys some tips and some recommendations while doing so. Removing this entire intake take mere minutes to do, as you just seen I did in this video, and I'll explain why shortly why this is the best method to remove the starter opposed to removing just the lower intake. Want to know if these are the same length bolts? You gotta worry about to get them mixed up. They're all the same length and size. All right, we're gonna stuff these ports plastic bags. Then remove this ground, that ground. This is the knock sensor, and this tab here. And there's one right there. For those of you who don't know why I'm stuffing these ports with plastic bags, it's to prevent something from falling into the engine. That's it. The only reason I'm removing these grounds from the engine is to give us some slack on that harness. That harness fits down there tight, and once we create that slack, we can pull that starter out without any issues. Here I'm just comparing parts and prepping the new starter to go in, removing the hardware from the new starter before we install it. Comparing parts, that's very important when replacing any new part. Compare them before you install them. So here we're going to do a couple things, more preventative maintenance. Since we removed that intake from the cylinder head, we're going to replace that lower intake gasket. Although that one looked good, I just don't want to take any chances. It's off, they're inexpensive, might as well replace it. And we're also going to clean that throttle body out. It's kind of dirty from carbon buildup over the years, so we're going to clean that out as well. Also, once I start cleaning the throttle body out, I'm going to manually open and close it. What this does most of the time is throw the calibration off, so it will require a throttle body relearn. And if you don't want to go through that, you don't have to do it, but I'll show you guys how to do that as well. But you see me guys open it manually here to clean it. It's going to throw the calibration off 9 times out of 10, and you're going to have either high idle or it's going to keep starting and stopping. Once you start it, it'll shut off. So you can avoid this by removing the throttle body itself. It's only 4 bolts holding. I should have did it here and showed you guys. You can clean the front side and the back side of it without manually opening that throttle plate. And the kit comes with a throttle body gasket. I should have just did that for you guys, but I didn't do it here. I do want to note, cleaning this throttle body out, you will see an increase in gas mileage and an improvement in throttle response. So here's a high quality, inexpensive gasket set you can order. The information is right there as well. Comes with the throttle body gasket. We didn't remove the throttle body, so we're not going to replace that, but definitely going to replace that lower intake gasket. Although I do have both gaskets for the lower and upper intake, we only removed the lower intake from the cylinder head, so that's the only gasket we got to replace. And have we removed that lower intake to replace the starter, we'd have to replace both gaskets. Because you don't want to reuse those older gaskets, and you wish you probably could, but you want to try to avoid a vacuum leak. Would be terrible to reinstall everything and you have a vacuum leak there. So yeah, just install some new gaskets, or in our case, just a new lower intake gasket, and it takes nothing to zip this upper intake off, or the whole intake off. Here I'm just showing the gasket is, or the intake is fully seated to the cylinder head before I torque it down. Just want you guys to see that. You can see the tab sticking out from the gasket and how flush we are to the cylinder head. You don't want to have nothing wedged between there, no wire harness, anything caught between there, because if it does, it's going to have a vacuum leak. You're going to have issues. Top it off now. Here I'm just showing you guys what coolant this vehicle takes. You only need a little bit. You don't have to bother to concentrate because you didn't lose much out. I replaced the CVT in this video. That's why you see some components missing throughout the video. And I needed much more than the top off. So yeah, just showing you guys what coolant this vehicle takes. That's it. Here I'm inspecting everything out before I start the vehicle. I left the throttle relearn process out this video because it's not required if you didn't remove that throttle plate. However, it is in the CVT removal installation video that I have on the channel. It's my most detailed video out of 1,300 videos that I've ever done. That's saying a lot. Probably one of the most detailed videos you've ever seen on YouTube. A lot of time and effort went into it.